Recently on YouTube, somebody who goes by the name LeftPolitiko made a video called Maoism-Third Worldism, an Internet Disorder. Raim-Denver is responding to this video basically because all of the person's critiques not only apply to Maoism-Third Worldism but apply to us as well. There's absolutely nothing this person said that doesn't apply to Raim, in fact. So here's our response. So, LeftPolitiko's first so-called critique of Maoism-Third Worldism is that First World workers enjoy such a high standard of living because they fought for it through class struggle. This is false. We know this is false because we can look at the inverse implication, which is that Third Worlders have such a poor standard of living because they have not engaged in class struggle. Now, anyone who knows anything about history can tell you that Third World peoples have resisted imperialism since imperialism set up shop in their countries. So essentially what you have by LeftPolitiko is a racist, chauvinist argument that discounts the struggles of Third Worlders and exclusively focuses on those of First Worlders to somehow magically explain, well, why First Worlders are so rich other than imperialism. The second part of LeftPolitiko's so-called critique against Maoism-Third Worldism is divided into two parts. The first is that First World workers are part of the proletarian by virtue of the fact that they're hired by someone else and paid a wage. Well, Marx may have said that that's what constitutes a proletariat, or he may have not. I myself am not a Marx scholar, but I think we can say a couple of things. The first is that when Marx was describing what constitutes a proletariat, he was doing so in the context of the mid-19th century in Europe. Obviously, things had developed differently than the way Marx anticipated, and our analysis needs to keep pace with these developments. Secondly, I think anyone can open the Communist Manifesto and look how Marx describes the proletarian. He describes the proletarian as the wretched of the earth. He describes a proletarian as someone who has nothing to lose but their chains, and someone who can only live by the power of their labor. This obviously doesn't describe your average First Worlders. It doesn't even describe a minority of First Worlders, but it does describe, almost to a T, the majority of people in the Third World. Now, the second part of LeftPolitiko's second critique of Maoism-Third Worldism is that First World workers only fear revolution if your conception of a revolution is an invasion of the First World by the Third. Certainly, First World workers do fear this conception of revolution, do fear the Third Worldist model of revolution, but First World workers also reject the First Worldist conception of revolution. It's not as if you have First World workers rushing to join the Communist Party USA or any other group within the alphabet soup of First Worldist communist parties. If anything, you have First World workers rushing towards fascism, rushing towards the English Defense League, rushing towards the Tea Party, etc., etc. As part of LeftPolitiko's third and final so-called critique against Maoism-Third Worldism, they bring up the recent struggles in Greece. LeftPolitiko claims that these recent struggles disprove Maoism-Third Worldism by showing that First World workers will, in fact, stand up to capital. Well, there are a few problems with this. The first one is that Greek workers are hardly representative of all the people throughout imperialist countries. Greece has a very different history than the rest of the imperialist countries. Greece does not have a history of exploiting countries around the world the way that Western European countries or the United States or Japan does. In fact, Greece has a history of resisting a US-imposed fascist dictatorship that was around for decades. So we're really talking about two different things. Greece is not England. It's a simple fact. And second, and more importantly, I think we have to ask where the struggles in Greece are going. Raim is about revolutionary internationalism. We're about global equality. We're about a global redistribution of wealth and power. I don't think that's what the struggles in Greece are really about. I don't see any evidence for that. Rather, it seems like the struggles in Greece and what most First Worldists are about is about a democratization and broadening of bourgeois privilege. The struggles in Greece are about making it so that Greek workers can live more like English workers. It's not about overthrowing capital. In conclusion, LeftPolitiko is a fucking idiot. They claim to represent Marxism, but if this is the case, then Marxism is essentially dead. Their version of Marxism doesn't advance anything new, and it certainly doesn't reflect reality today. Their version of Marxism will not only not lead the first world so-called proletariat to revolution, its adoption can only set back real revolutionary struggles in the third world. Revolutionary theory is supposed to explain reality as it is, connect the dots, and build a larger analysis around defeating this system and building a new one. I really do encourage people to make a clean break from first worldism. Just tell people like LeftPolitiko that they're idiots, tell them to fuck off. People really need to get into stuff that's going on now with raim-denver, with raim, with Monkey Smashes Heaven and Maoism-Third Worldism. This is what revolutionary theory is about. It's new, it's cutting edge. As a final kind of note, I'd just like to throw out there the irony of LeftPolitiko running around calling Maoism-Third Worldism an internet disorder when you do have groups like raim out there, you do have cells and comrades around the world. On the other hand, LeftPolitiko is an internet alias that's not connected to any real-life party or group. So, take it or leave it. Depending on who you are and where you stand, peace out or fuck off.
Yeah.